I found the envelope on Tuesday morning, wedged between my apartment door and the frame like someone had tried to slide it through and gave up halfway. My name is Harriet Sinclair. I'm 55 years old. And this story still follows me. The envelope was brown. Unsealed. No name on it. I should have left it there. I didn't. Inside were 3 photographs. Printed on glossy paper. Professional quality. The first one showed a man sitting in a parked car. White sedan. Ordinary face. He was looking down at his phone, unaware of the camera. The time stamp in the corner read 11:47 p.m. 4 days ago. The second photograph showed the same car. Same angle. But now the driver's seat was empty. The door was open. The interior light cast everything in yellow. The third photograph showed a woman walking away from the car. She was halfway down the block, her back to the camera. Dark coat. Long hair. She was carrying something under her arm. Rectangular like a laptop bag. I turned the photos over. Nothing. No note. No explanation. I stood in my doorway for a long time holding them. The hallway was quiet. It was always quiet on Tuesday mornings. Most people in the building worked early shifts or didn't work at all. I was one of the few who kept irregular hours. Freelance copy editing, mostly remote. I could go days without seeing a neighbor. I went back inside and locked the door. I sat at my kitchen table and spread the photographs out in front of me. I studied them the way I used to study manuscripts, looking for patterns, inconsistencies, anything that didn't fit. The car had a parking permit sticker on the windshield. I couldn't read it in the photo, but it was the right size and shape for the permits issued in this neighborhood, which meant the car belonged here. Or the driver did. The woman in the third photo. I couldn't see her face, but something about her posture felt familiar. The way she held her shoulders. The way her coat hung. I told myself I didn't know her. I told myself it didn't matter. I put the photos back in the envelope and slid it into the drawer under my microwave. Out of sight. I made coffee. I opened my laptop. I tried to work. At 1:15 p.m. someone knocked on my door. 3 knocks. Soft. Almost polite. I wasn't expecting anyone. I looked through the peephole. A man stood in the hallway. Mid-40s maybe. Neat haircut. Plain jacket. He wasn't holding anything. His hands were in his pockets. I didn't recognize him. I opened the door but kept the chain on. "Can I help you?" I said. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "I'm sorry to bother you," he said. "I'm looking for apartment 4C. I think I might have the wrong floor." "This is 3C, I said. 4 is upstairs." "Right. Thank you." He didn't move. "Anything else?" I asked. "Actually," he said, "I think someone might have left something at your door by mistake. An envelope. Brown. Did you happen to see it?" My chest tightened. "No," I said. "Nothing like that." He nodded slowly. "Hey. Well, if you do see it, could you let me know? It's kind of important." "Sure. Thanks," he said. He didn't ask for my number. He didn't leave his. He just turned and walked back toward the stairs. I closed the door. Locked it. Put the chain back on. I stood there for a full minute listening to the silence. Then I went to the drawer and took out the envelope. I looked at the photographs again. This time I noticed something I'd missed before. In the first photo, the one of the man in the car, there was a reflection in the side mirror. Faint but visible. Someone standing on the sidewalk behind the car. Watching. I grabbed my phone and took pictures of all 3 photographs. Then I put the originals back in the envelope and shoved it into my coat pocket. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I knew I couldn't leave them in my apartment. At 3 p.m. I went outside. I told myself I was going for a walk, clearing my head, but I knew where I was going. The parking lot was 2 blocks south. Small. Gated. Residents only. I walked slowly, kept my head down. I didn't want to look like I was searching for something. The white sedan was parked in the far corner. Same car. Same permit sticker. I stopped at the edge of the lot and pretended to check my phone. The car looked normal. Clean. No damage. The doors were closed. The windows were up. I started to walk away. Then I saw it. On the ground next to the driver's side door. A small dark stain. Not oil. Not water. I looked around. The lot was empty. I walked closer. The stain was about the size of a dinner plate. Dry at the edges but still tacky in the center. I crouched down. I didn't touch it. I took a picture with my phone. Then I stood up and walked away as fast as I could without running. When I got back to my apartment, the man from earlier was gone. But there was another envelope waiting for me. Same brown paper. Same placement. This one had my name on it. Written in black ink. Neat handwriting. I didn't open it right away. I stood in the hallway with the envelope in my hand, my pulse loud in my ears. Then I went inside, locked the door, and sat down at the kitchen table. I opened it slowly. Inside was a single photograph. It showed me, standing in the parking lot, crouched next to the white sedan, taken less than 10 minutes ago. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at my kitchen table with all 4 photographs spread out in front of me. The 3 from the first envelope. The one of me from the second. Someone had followed me to the parking lot. Someone had watched me take that picture. Someone knew I was involved now. Except I wasn't involved. I didn't ask for this. At 6 a.m. I heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Deliberate. They stopped outside my door. I held my breath. A shadow passed under the gap at the bottom of the door. Then nothing. I waited 5 minutes before I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But there was something new on my doormat. A phone. Not mine. A burner. Cheap flip phone. The kind you buy with cash and throw away. I opened the door just enough to grab it and pulled it inside. The phone was already on. Fully charged. There was one text message waiting. You looked. Now you're part of it. I stared at the screen. I typed back. Part of what? The response came immediately. Check the car again. Trunk. Tonight. 11 p.m. I deleted the message. Then I deleted mine. But they didn't disappear. New text. Don't delete these. Don't tell anyone. We're watching. I put the phone face down on the table. My hands were shaking. I spent the day pretending to work. Every sound in the hallway made me freeze. Every notification on my real phone made my stomach drop. At 10:45 p.m. I put on my coat. I told myself I wasn't going. I told myself I'd call the police. But I didn't. Because whoever took that photo of me knew where I lived. Knew my name. Knew exactly how to make me complicit. The parking lot was dark. One of the overhead lights was out, the one nearest the white sedan. I walked slowly. The burner phone was heavy in my pocket. The car was still there, untouched. I stood next to the trunk and looked around. No one. No movement. I tried the trunk. It was unlocked. I lifted it slowly. Inside was a black duffel bag. I unzipped it. Stacks of cash. Banded. Hundreds. Maybe $50,000. And underneath, wrapped in plastic, a bloody shirt. I stepped back. The trunk was still open. My phone buzzed. New message. Take the bag. Leave the car. You have 2 minutes. I looked around. Still no one. I'm not doing this, I typed. Then we send your photo to the police. You're already on camera at a crime scene. How will you explain that? I stared at the bag. 1 minute. I grabbed the duffel bag. I closed the trunk. I walked away. I didn't run. I didn't look back. When I got home, I shoved the bag under my bed. The phone buzzed again. Good. We'll be in touch. Then, one more thing. The woman in the photo. The one walking away from the car. I waited. You know her. I looked at the third photograph again. The woman's back. The dark coat. The way she walked. My bedroom mirror caught my reflection. Same coat. Same build. Same hair. The woman in the photo was me. I pulled the photograph closer to the lamp. The woman in the dark coat. The timestamp, 11:47 p.m. 4 days ago. I tried to remember where I was that night. What I was doing. I checked my phone calendar. Tuesday. 4 days ago. I'd worked late. Finished an editing job around 11 p.m. Then what? I didn't remember going out. I didn't remember that parking lot. But the coat was mine. The hair was mine. The way she walked. The burner phone buzzed. You're starting to understand. I typed back. I wasn't there. That's not me. Your building security camera says otherwise. Lobby footage. You left at 11:32 p.m. Came back at 12:04 a.m. I felt cold. Check your coat pockets. I went to the closet. Pulled out the dark coat. Left pocket, empty. Right pocket, a parking garage ticket. Time stamped 11:41 p.m. 4 days ago. I'd been there. I just didn't remember. The phone buzzed. The man in the car was a problem. You helped us solve it. Now you help us finish. I didn't do anything, I typed. You took something from that car. Before we got there. We need it back. I stared at the screen. I don't know what you're talking about. Check your bag. The one you carried that night. I went to my closet. Found the laptop bag I always used. I unzipped the main compartment. My laptop. Charger. I checked the side pocket. There was a USB drive inside. I didn't recognize it. Small. No label. Found it. The phone buzzed. I didn't respond. That drive has something we need. You're going to give it to us. Tomorrow. 9 p.m. Same parking lot. Put it in the trunk of the white sedan. And if I don't? Then we tell the police you murdered him. Your prints are on the car. Your DNA is in that parking lot. We have footage of you taking evidence. We have the bloody shirt with your coat fibers on it. My throat tightened. You made yourself part of this. Now finish it. I looked at the USB drive. I plugged it into my laptop. It asked for a password. I tried a few obvious combinations. Nothing worked. The phone buzzed again. Don't try to open it. Don't copy it. Just deliver it. I pulled the drive out. Then I did something stupid. I went back to the parking lot. It was almost 2 a.m. The white sedan was gone. In its place was fresh concrete. Someone had repaved that section. The dark stain, gone. I stood there in the empty lot trying to understand. A car pulled in behind me. Headlights on. Engine idling. I turned around. The man from my hallway stepped out. Same neat haircut. Same jacket. He wasn't smiling this time. You were supposed to wait for instructions, he said. I don't understand what's happening, I said. Yes, you do. He walked closer. You just don't want to. I didn't kill anyone. No one said you did. He stopped a few feet away. But you were there. And you took something. That makes you useful. Who was he? The man in the car. Someone who had information he shouldn't have. He nodded toward my pocket. Same information that's on that drive. What information? He smiled. The kind people disappear for. I could go to the police. You could, but then you'd have to explain the money under your bed. The bloody evidence in your possession. The security footage. Your missing memory. He tilted his head. How do you think that conversation goes? I didn't answer. Tomorrow. 9 p.m. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. He got back in his car and drove away. I walked home in the dark. When I got to my building, there was someone sitting in the lobby. A woman. Late 30s. Professional clothes. She stood up when she saw me. Excuse me, she said. Are you the resident of 3C? I stopped. Who's asking? He pulled out a badge. Detective. Metro Police. I'm investigating a missing person. A man was last seen in this area 4 days ago. White sedan. We're canvassing neighbors. She showed me a photo on her phone. The same man from the first photograph. The one in the car. Have you seen him? She asked. I looked at her carefully. Her badge looked real. Her eyes looked tired. No, I said. I haven't. She studied my face for a long moment. Hey. Well, if you remember anything. She handed me a card. Call me. Anytime. I took the card. She walked toward the door, then stopped. One more thing. Do you own a dark coat? Wool. My stomach dropped. Why? We found fibers at the scene. Just trying to rule people out. Half the city wears dark coats, I said. She nodded slowly. That's true. She left. I went upstairs. The burner phone was buzzing. You talked to the police. Bad choice. She came to me, I typed. Doesn't matter. Now we move faster. New plan. Tonight. 4 a.m. Bring the drive. Bring the money. We'll tell you where. I sat on my bed. I pulled out the detective's card. I pulled out the USB drive. I looked at the duffel bag under my bed. And I realized something. I had no idea who to trust. But I knew one thing for certain. Someone was going to die before this was over. And I was terrified it would be me. I didn't go at 4 a.m. I went at 3:30. The burner phone had given me an address. Industrial area. Abandoned warehouse district near the port. The kind of place where nobody asks questions. I took the USB drive. I left the money. If they wanted to kill me, $50,000 wouldn't stop them. But maybe it would buy me time to run. The warehouse was exactly what I expected. Rusted metal. Broken windows. One functioning door with a strip of light underneath. I stood outside for 2 minutes. Listening. No cars. No voices. Just wind and distant water. I pushed the door open. Inside was empty except for a metal table in the center. One folding chair. A single overhead light. On the table, a laptop. Already open. Waiting. I walked closer. The screen showed a password prompt. For the USB drive. I heard footsteps behind me. The man from the hallway emerged from the shadows. He wasn't alone this time. 2 others. Younger. Harder faces. They didn't speak. You brought it, he asked. I held up the drive. Good. Put it on the table. I didn't move. Tell me what's on it first. He smiled. You don't want to know. I'm already here. I'm already involved. Tell me. He considered this. Then nodded to one of the men behind him. The man pulled out a phone and held it up. Screen facing me. A video. Paused on the first frame. The man from the car. Alive. Sitting across the table from someone I recognized. City councilman. I'd seen his face on campaign posters. Mark Holloway. Reform candidate. Anti-corruption platform. Your dead man was a courier, the neat-haired man said. He was delivering evidence. Offshore accounts. Bribery. The kind of thing that ends careers. Ends lives. Holloway's evidence? Against Holloway. He wasn't what he pretended to be. And someone paid a lot of money to make sure that information never surfaced. You killed him for this? We didn't kill anyone. He pointed at me. You did. My blood went cold. That's a lie. Is it? He walked closer. 4 days ago you received a call. Someone you trusted. They asked you to pick something up. Just a favor. You don't remember because you were drugged. Rohypnol in your coffee that afternoon. We needed you functional but forgettable. I tried to speak. Nothing came out. You went to that parking lot. You met him. You took the drive from his hand. And then, he paused. Then our people finished the job. But you were already contaminated. Your prints. Your presence. Your memory gaps. The detective is real. And she's looking for you. We made sure of it. He gestured to the laptop. Now you're going to unlock that drive. And then you're going to deliver it somewhere for us. And if I don't? Then we give the detective everything. She'll find the money. The bloody shirt. The footage. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison for a murder you don't even remember committing. I stared at the USB drive in my hand. How do I even unlock it? He smiled. You already know the password. You just don't remember. One of the other men stepped forward with a syringe. This will help you remember. Sedative mixed with a recall agent. You'll be awake. But your brain will access things you've suppressed. No. They grabbed me before I could move. The needle went into my arm. Everything went soft at the edges. I was sitting in the chair now. I don't remember sitting down. The laptop was in front of me. The password cursor blinking. Think back, the neat-haired man said. His voice sounded far away. 4 days ago. The parking lot. What did he say to you? I closed my eyes. The memory came back in pieces. Standing next to the white sedan. The man's window rolling down. His face pale. Take this, he'd said. Pressing the USB drive into my hand. The password is your address. Building number and apartment. No spaces. My building number. 847. My apartment 3C. I opened my eyes. My hands typed. 8473C. The drive unlocked. Files appeared on the screen. Documents. Photos. Bank transfers. Years of evidence. The neat-haired man leaned over my shoulder. Good. Now we. The warehouse door exploded inward. Flashlights. Voices shouting. Police. The detective from my lobby stepped through first. Gun drawn. Nobody move. The 3 men scattered. Gunshots. Chaos. I stayed in the chair paralyzed by the drugs. The detective grabbed my arm. Are you hurt? I shook my head. She looked at the laptop screen. Then at me. Did you unlock this? I nodded. Do you know what this is? Evidence, I whispered. Against Councilman Holloway. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she closed the laptop. No, she said quietly. Evidence against the people trying to stop Councilman Holloway. My stomach dropped. The man in the car, he wasn't delivering evidence against Holloway. He was delivering evidence for him. Proof that the people he was investigating were willing to kill to stay hidden. Then why? They needed someone to take the fall. Someone ordinary. Someone who wouldn't be believed. He helped me stand. You were the perfect witness. Until you actually became one. Outside I heard sirens. More police arriving. The detective handed me her card. The same one from before. You're going to need a lawyer. A good one. But if you cooperate, if you testify to what happened here tonight, there's a chance. A chance at what? She looked at me sadly. A chance this doesn't destroy your entire life. She walked away to coordinate with the other officers. I stood alone in the warehouse, still foggy from the drugs. I looked at the laptop, the USB drive, the evidence that had killed one man and nearly killed me. And I realized something. I'd spent 3 days trying to figure out who I could trust. But the real question was simpler. Did anyone trust me? The answer I knew was no. Not anymore. The trial took 8 months. I testified 3 times. Once for the prosecution. Twice for the defense. Different defendants, different lawyers, same questions. Did you know what you were carrying? No. Did you willingly participate in evidence tampering? No. Do you remember the events of that night clearly? No. The drugs in my system bought me reasonable doubt. The security footage showed me in the parking lot, but not what happened inside the car. The bloody shirt had my coat fibers, but also fibers from 6 other people. The neat-haired man, his real name was Derek Posner, took a plea deal. Life without parole. He gave up 12 names. Police. City officials. A deputy prosecutor. The councilman, Mark Holloway, went into protective custody. He won his election by a landslide. Reformed the police oversight board. Became a symbol of integrity. He never once acknowledged my name in public. The man in the car was named Thomas Chin. Forensic accountant. Father of 2. His family sued the city. They won. $18 million. They didn't thank me either. I wasn't charged with murder. Not enough evidence. But I was charged with obstruction. Tampering with evidence. Possession of stolen property. My lawyer, court-appointed, overworked kind, got most of it dismissed. I pled guilty to 1 count of evidence tampering. 18 months probation. 300 hours community service. You're lucky, he told me in the courthouse hallway. This could have been much worse. I didn't feel lucky. The detective, her name was Sarah Mora, visited me once after everything ended. We sat in a coffee shop. He ordered tea. I couldn't drink anything. I wanted to apologize, she said. For what? For not believing you at first. When you said you didn't remember. She stirred her tea slowly. We see a lot of people lie. After a while you assume everyone is. I still don't remember most of it, I said. Maybe that's better. Is it? She didn't answer. Do you think I did it? I asked. Killed him. She looked at me for a long time. No. I don't think you did. She paused. But I think part of you wonders. And that's what they wanted. They didn't just frame you. They made you doubt yourself. He was right. Every night I lay awake replaying the gaps. The missing hours. The parking lot. The moment I took that drive. Had I seen him die? Had I looked away? Had some part of me known and stayed silent? I would never know for certain. Detective Mora finished her tea and stood up. For what it's worth, she said, you did the right thing in the end. You testified. You helped us close the case. And Thomas Chin is still dead. Yes, she said. He is. She left. I never saw her again. I moved 6 months later. Different city. Smaller. Quieter. I don't edit manuscripts anymore. Can't focus the way I used to. I work at a library now. Reshelving books. Processing returns. Simple work. Anonymous work. Sometimes people ask why I moved. Why I left. I tell them I needed a change. I don't tell them about the envelopes. Because they didn't stop. Once a year, on the anniversary of that first Tuesday morning, I find one waiting for me. Brown paper. No name. No return address. Inside is always the same thing. A photograph of me. Taken recently. Grocery store. Bus stop. Walking home from work. No message. No threat. Just proof that someone is still watching. I used to call the police. File reports. Ask for help. But Detective Mora retired. The case is closed. No one believes me anymore. Last year's envelope arrived 3 weeks ago. This time the photograph showed me sitting in my apartment. Through my window. Taken at night. I don't know what they want. I don't know if they'll ever want anything. Maybe this is the punishment. Not prison. Not death. Just knowing that I'll never be invisible again. That somewhere someone is keeping track. And that the worst part of what happened to me wasn't being framed for murder. It was discovering that my life, my choices, my memory, my truth, could be rewritten so easily. That I could become someone I didn't recognize. And never fully become myself again. I keep the photographs in a box under my bed. 17 of them now. I don't look at them anymore. But I can't throw them away. Because they're the only proof I have that any of this really happened. That I'm not imagining it. That I'm not crazy. My name is Elena Marsh. I'm 34 years old. And this story isn't over. It just doesn't have an ending yet.